welcome back and thanks for coming back. I've noticed I have a few new subscribers, and so I would like to welcome you guys to my crazy silly little channel. Today we're going to be doing a video about some basic things, but life is all about the basics. Life is all about a foundation and making it good for a long time. So today's video, I'm going to be going over the 101s, the basics, the 1, 2, 3s of contouring and highlighting the face. And I know you may be thinking, oh my gosh, there's a bazillion videos on YouTube about this, but I don't know that I've really ever done one, and I have had a request from the beautiful, talented, and sweet as pie, Hannah Little. And so I'm going to be doing that video for her per her request. And if you guys ever have any kind of request, something that you would like to see in a video, maybe something you have a question about, or just something silly that you think you'd like to see me do, please leave it in the comments below. And if you like me, you like my videos, blah, 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 don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment on the video, and if you love me, you can even share the video. All right, first thing I gotta do is get this hair up out the way because it's still wet, it's not dry. And when I do my hair curly like this, I literally, Jamie French says don't touch it. Don't touch it until it's dry. So I'm really trying not to, like, you don't want to fuss with it or like whip it around or do anything. Let the curls get crispy and perfect, and once it's dry, then you can kind of like mess it up, soften it up, and whatever. So we're just letting her sit in her natural curly state today. All right, so you guys know that I like to start with my eyes, and so I'm actually gonna go ahead and get those done real quick off camera, and then I'll be right back, so hang on. Okay, the eyes are all done. A little more dramatic than I expected, but who cares, right? All right, so today for primer, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. That's what she looks like. And I mix it between 3 fingers. And I put it in my pory places, which is right here. And I really just kind of like press it into those spots. My nose, very porous. You don't want to go all over your entire face with this poreless primer. You just want to hit the spots that need it. You know what I mean? Alright, so in this video, I wanted to kind of do like contouring. I don't want to say for dummies because that's mean as hell. I'm not calling anybody dumb. But it is basically a foolproof way to figure out your own contouring and highlight zones on your own face, because where I highlight and where I contour, it's not going to be the same place for anybody, because my face has its own bone structure, your face has its own bone structure, and nobody's is the same except maybe identical twins. I don't know. So what we're gonna do is we are going to start off with our contouring. And I feel like most people have more than one shade of their favorite foundation, because a lot of people accidentally get too dark or too light or whatever. I'm gonna show you how to use those foundations for your contouring and your highlighting and all of that stuff. And if you don't have a lot of different shades, maybe go to the store and pick up a foundation shade that's about 2 shades darker than your natural all over face shade, and you could do easy contouring just like I'm about to. If not, you can use your own contouring products. I'm gonna start off with like cream foundation products, but you can just follow along with powder products if that's the only thing that you like to use. Either way, this is going to be fun. Let's do it. First, I want to talk about the Wet n Wild cushion foundations, because I think that they are, as I drop them, pretty amazing. They come in they come in a lot of shades. So I'm going to show you. Honey Beige is like my all over, because I've kind of got like a fake tan happening right now. See, look at me. All this body makeup. I'm loving it. I'm going to start off with the shade Tawny, which is like a deep tan. And then this one is Honey Beige, we're gonna start off with whatever contouring product it is that you wanna use personally. But you, like I said, you can use whatever you want. So I'm gonna take my little cushion foundation and we're just gonna press my beauty blender right into it, pointy end in. And like I said, this is kind of a foolproof way to figure out your own zones of your face, is to start with the darkest shade and then pull it back with the highlight. So I'm going to start on my outside of my face, because for me, this is the easiest, most obvious place that I want to contour. And if you don't understand contouring and highlighting, I'll give you a quick lesson. Contouring, which is what I'm doing right now, is putting down a darker shade than your skin tone, usually 2 to 3 shades darker if you're wanting it to like be noticeable at all. And the whole reason that it's darker is because what it is doing is it is creating a shadowed effect or contour. For example, my forehead, I just turned it into like a, I have weird hands. I have a big forehead, especially without the eyebrows. And so for me, I really like to contour my forehead first, because it's the very first thing that I'm like, go away, go away, go away. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting it at the very top of my head, because what contouring does is it causes a shadow, and so what it does is it pulls the view back. So when you're looking at somebody, you're not going directly to the top. What you see is the highlighted areas. And so what I'm doing is I am just basically creating the shadows that I wish I had or the hairline that I wish I had. And so we're just gonna do the other side, same thing. Now I like to bring this around. The general idea of contouring is to turn everybody's face shape into an oval, a perfect little oval. And so that's kind of like what I'm doing, is I'm just going on towards the outsides of my face. I'll bring it down here. Don't go above the line, go on the line and under it when you're contouring your neckline. And the reason somebody might contour their neckline, like me, is to push that back a little so it's not so highlighted. See, when you put on a darker shade, it's a little less like poppin' and obvious. Thanks, Mom. So I'm bringing it right up to the jawline, like right there. And very light-handedly, you don't want to go heavy on your neck. Like that could turn out bad real quick. I've got another trick for you. Now I've heard this from actually more than one person, more than one model, that they hate their cheeks. They hate them. They don't ever put blush on them. They don't even really know how to contour them because they just hate them. They feel like chipmunk cheeks. And so a really quick tip for healthy cheeks is, if you want to feel like maybe you've dimmed them down a little bit, slimmed them in a little bit, just take your contour shade like I do and you bring it all the way up. I mean, don't go like under your eye, but basically keep your face straight and go upwards. And so you're right in that zone, and you're actually, what you're doing is you're just contouring in the cheeks, so all you see are the little cute little apples at the end. Right, now contouring your nose, I don't know, it's always a risk. Sometimes it looks great, sometimes it looks like crap. To each his own. I might do like a little something like that. And that's really about it. Like, you just pinch your beauty blender and hit the bones on the sides of your nose, airing towards hitting the middle and the bone rather than any of the sides. Like that. Me, I always put a little bit on the bottom of my nose because if you have like me, I have this kind of like weird point with my nose, and so I'll even put on a little bit of contour on my nose just so that it's not highlighted. It's not like one of the first things you see when you look at me is not going to be my nose, because my nose is like the worst part of my face. Let's be real. I've also got one other cute little tip. You can take a little brush, whatever kind you want, lip brush, whatever, and you can take your darkest shade of contour, foundation, whatever you're using, and you can see that there's like a natural line here on my lip. So we're just gonna do this. Basically, I'm just lining my lips with my contour shade. And you can even bring a little shadow down here, and it can just kind of enhance your lips, really. It's really all it's doing. Enhancing the lippity-doo-doos. See, they look pretty nice. I didn't really do much. Now this is pretty good considering I've only put down my contour shade. Okay. Right, next up would be your concealer, and you would want to choose one. I know people love to go with like a bright white one, but most of the time, unless you're like super duper blonde haired, pale, like a porcelain doll, it doesn't usually look right. And so what you want to do is you want to find a concealer that is 2 to 3 shades lighter than the foundation or contour shade. And so I've got a couple of options. I've got my NARS, I've got my Maybelline, and I've got my Tarte Shape Tape, and these are all kind of like really light, medium light, and then like kind of, these two are kind of similar, but this one's a little bit darker and this one's a little bit like of a yellower tone. Today I'm going to use the NARS one. I feel like it will probably be a pretty good match for today. Alright, concealer is placed down. Now, all you really want to focus on are the things that you want to pop from your face, the things that you want to come forward. And it all depends on your face, and it all depends on your preference. For example, here, I love to have a crisp little line right here, but not all the way down. Like, I'm going to put foundation down here. I have these like, whatever they're called, and so I like to kind of like clean them up, smooth them out, and make them all seem like one seamless highlighted area. Challenge: next time you go look at a photo online that's not all like Facetuned to hell, look and see if you don't notice an X of natural highlight on people's foreheads. I have noticed this, and I have been taking advantage, and I have been making an X on my forehead from now on, and it works. It looks good. It looks natural. It's natural. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and blend this out real quick. All right, you guys, now this is all of my highlighting and contouring that is on. Now at this point is when I look around my face and I see if there is anything else that I feel like needs more coverage anywhere. And so I'll do my little touch-ups, and I will put a little bit of foundation on if I need it. But I'm feeling kind of nice today. I feel like this looks really good, and I haven't put any products, like any powder products on yet. I might just leave this right here as it is and go ahead and start going in with our powder products. But just know that you can still go in with your natural foundation shade and, you know, buff things in or blend them out a little better, whatever it is that you want to do. But I feel like starting from darkest to lightest is the best way to kind of foolproof your way into contouring and highlighting. All right, next up I'm going to do my contouring with some powder, and you don't need to use much when you've already done like your cream contouring and highlighting. You just have to use a really light hand because it'll pick up on it real quick. So my face is all set, and we are gonna go in with this LA Girls palette. It's kind of broken. But I recommend that you get a palette with a lot of different shades in them because I'll show you why right now. First shade I'm gonna use is pretty close to the cream contour color that I put already on my face. So we're just gonna brighten it up, bring it back to life after setting your face. It can kind of disappear a little bit. And again, with the contouring of the nose, it's really like your own taste. I like to contour the end of my nose because I don't like it to stick out. And then I actually contour the whole like bridge of it. I know you can still put highlight on top of your contour if you like to have like that little stripe of highlighted nose. But I still will put contour on the top of my nose because I don't like my nose to be prominent on my face. I want it to be like less prominent. Alright, so this is the shade that I just used right here. And the next shade that I'm gonna use is this one, right here. And what I'm gonna do is very tiny, but girl, she makes a difference. What I'm doing is I am taking an even darker shade, basically one more shade darker, so it's like 4 shades darker than my skin tone. And what I'm doing is I'm just popping it right here at the very outside. Don't mind my dog. Must be a squirrel. So I'm just popping that darkest shade right here where my bone kind of sticks out naturally. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the remains of what's on my brush to just this very hairline edge. And you shouldn't need to really like over blend it or anything because it's so close to the shade that you just put on. You really shouldn't have any work to do except to put a little pop right there. What it does is it just makes this pop out even more. So you've got like a killer shadow, which just makes you look, it gives you bone structure. That's what I'm doing. Giving myself pretty little bone structure. Then I'll take that same shade and like with a really light hand, you guys, just this V part right here, right in front of my face. Just this part. It's gonna get a little bit darker than the rest of it. Now listen, you guys don't have to do all this. This is like professional, gradiated contouring. You don't have to do all this. You could just watch the first few minutes of the video and just do that. I'm going into like a lot of professional detail, but I think that they're really cool tricks to do, you know, and anybody could do them. All right, now for blush, you guys, it's really easy. People make it really complicated, but it's really not. I'm gonna use the Milani Rose one, the peachy one. Oh, what is it called? I should probably tell you. It is the Coral Cove. All right, so we're gonna get some on that same brush that I contoured with, because the trick is you don't wanna have to over blend and grab another brush, the contour brush, the blush brush. You want everything to be seamless, the colors to be seamless, so just use the same brush. My husband's whistling at me. All right, so blushing, super easy. Go like this. Find the apples of your cheeks, hit them real quick so you know where you're going with it. Don't go any higher than here, than like basically where your nose little creasy area ends. You don't want to go any higher than that. And you do want to fade it into your contour. So you start with the apples of your cheeks, do a couple little things like this, and then very lightly bring it up into the contour line. So, and we're gonna blend it upwards into the contour so that they are seamless. Now, if you're like me and you love blush, go back for a little more, but don't do what you just did. If you wanna add a little more, this time we're gonna stipple right where you want it, okay? Stipple, 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 so that you can be a little bit more precise without fluffing your blush up into your under eye. Because when you get blush on your under eye, you just look sick. And what we're trying to do with the blush is look like cute and healthy and whatever. I'll put a little bit on the nose. I'll brush over my forehead a little bit with it, because what I like to do is I like to make sure that like my whole face, all the colors are seamless, all the colors make sense, all the colors are working with each other. So we're just kind of going over the face, not really adding, I didn't add anything else to the brush. This is just whatever's left on it. And we're just gonna kind of even everything out. And the last little trick is this little line right here. Not a fan of it, never really have been. And what I have a couple of recommendations. You can just take your beauty blender that's probably still slightly damp but mostly dry, still has a little foundation stuff on it. And you can just go over it like this and blend it so that it feels very like seamless. Or you can add a little bit of foundation powder, which would be the same color skin tone as your face, but you would just use it just under these areas to do whatever you want to do to like clean things up. And I think you guys know the rest of the drill. We're gonna set the face, we're gonna highlight the face, and then we're all set. All right, I've definitely learned a couple of things about highlighting too. And so we're using a very dense little dome brush from Morphe. And I don't like it when my highlighter just goes everywhere. I'm not a fan, okay? I like to control it. I wanna know right where it's gonna go. Because that just makes me happy. I'm gonna go up the forehead. A little bit. I like to basically just make like a C. I mean, that's pretty easy. I mean, everybody's got this orbital bone here, and that's really where you want your highlight to go, is in this area here. And then I'll drag mine down just because I feel like it gives me that like really cute like glass skin effect. I like it. Drag it up a little bit on the forehead. And then of course the Cupid's bow. I like to go right for the lines. Some people just do the very top of their lip. I like the lines. Kill. And then of course with the nose, I will do just right here. That's the only part of the nose that I don't mind, which is like the bridge. Like, of course I have a nose. Little dot on the chin. And then my new little trick, which is to start here. And we're making an X, yo. We're making an X. SARAHX Artistry Selfless plug. But no, I mean, it's just something that I've noticed working with photographers and looking at a lot of images, is that if you look at people's foreheads, they actually have like a highlighted X. Like you can literally see the X if you look. Comment below, because I know I'm not crazy. We're gonna mess with the hair finally, because guess what, yo? She's dry. She's dry. Alright, you guys, that is it. That is this full face of contour, highlights, with some dramatic eyes that I didn't intend, but you know what? Living my best life. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share if you like these videos, and let me know what you want to see next. I'll see you next week. Love y'all. Bye.